Welcome semua orang to the show. Excuse the echo because personal fault, tak apa. Kita macam itulah, right? We just bear with it. Welcome to the show. It's a financial talk. It's going live on the Wealth Vantage Facebook page. So if you got any questions, go to the Wealth Vantage page and type it there, and we will answer it. But it's also going live in Clubhouse. So anyone in Clubhouse got any financial questions? Put up your hands, put up that. The main topic today we're going to cover is the 1.2K for fresh grad, reasonable ke tak. That is the encompassing topic that we're going to discuss. Tapi kalau if you got any other topic you want to ask, please feel free to just ask. Jangan malu-malu. We will not stop you. Um, and we'll just have it lah. Okay. So once again, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Apa khabar, Rafiq? How are you?
Hi, Hi, JJ. I'm okay.
Yes. I'm happy because I baru-baru ni jumpa Rafiq juga. we had dinner with friends, so it was quite fun. But yeah, like I said, if anybody got any financial questions, please feel free to come in and ask. Someone called Rizal says Rafiq rajin buat live. And then Safwan says ada echo. Yes, Safwan today got echo sikit sebab whatever I say is coming out of Rafiq's thing, and then Rafiq is speaking and then bagi balik. Tak apa. Asalkan echo tak kuat. Tengok Rafiq mute, tak dengar apa-apa echo. Tetapi tak apalah. Itulah hidup kita. We're trying to merge two technologies, which is Clubhouse and Facebook at the same time, so everybody can ask questions. So once again, and if anybody got any questions, please feel free to ask any questions. But let's just cover the main topic, just the umbrella question. In your opinion, Rafiq, what do you think? Is 1.2K for fresh grads reasonable or not?
Okay. Yeah, I think what I'll be doing is whenever you're speaking, I will mute it so that we reduce the number of echoes. But when I have to speak, whether I like it or not, I have to need. So I would like to say sorry for the technical glitch. I'm not sure what happened, but apparently since I updated the newest Windows update, I've been having issues with both my speakers and my mic. Was able to get it resolved earlier today for the SC investment panel. So that was the comment. I am doing a lot of live. Yeah, I don't do that much live actually. As you know, so this is my only session like every fortnight. Okay, so coming to the question that you asked, DJ. Okay, so before we started this, I actually shared the financial Hotline show. So in the shared post, I actually wrote 4 things with regards to this particular need. So what I shared there is I think it would be a unique viewpoint. Is a unique viewpoint because I will talk about that issue as a licensed financial planner. I will also talk about the issue as an employer. I will also talk about the issue as somebody who was or technically still provide HR advice. I used to be a HR consultant. And I advise companies to set up their remuneration policies. So it's a big word, but to make it easy for everybody to understand, I help companies decide what salary they pay to people that they have within the company.
Okay.
Okay. And I used to be a fresh grad who came into Ni, and I had to go through the hardship of low salaries, whatnot.
Sama.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So so basically I want to share all those conflicting viewpoints Okay. But my overall take on this, and I've shared it on Twitter before, is actually one of my most shared tweets, is actually I don't believe 1,200 for fresh graduates. So this is, I'm assuming, at least people with diploma and above. Okay. People with diploma and above, I don't think it's fair. Okay.
Okay.
That is my official and personal viewpoint with regards to this situation. I don't agree it's fair for somebody, especially if you live in Klang Valley or you live in Penang or wherever ni, to be earning 1,200 if you're a fresh grad. Okay, because that
Okay,
is just slightly higher than the minimum wage. So logically, why did you then go through like the 3 years, the 4 years of tertiary education
correct.
just so that you earn like 100 ringgit above minimum wage?
Unfair.
Right.
Betul. No, agreed, agreed.
Uh, yeah. So that is the first point. So to me, I like I said, I don't agree with that viewpoint. I don't agree with that viewpoint because if I talk from a licensed financial planner point of view, you can barely make ends meet
Yes,
with that amount of money. Okay,
yes.
with that amount of money, especially in it. So if let's just put some numbers out. So let's say you do earn 1,200. Okay, doesn't matter whether you're a fresh grad or whether whoever that earns 1,200 and you live in Klang Valley. Okay, so you're not gonna get 1,200 net.
Yes, it's not
Be clear about
1,200
that.
net. Yep.
It's not 1,200 net. So minus 11% for EPF, so that's what 130, 132 minus SOXO. So easily you're already close to minus 150 already. So you actually be going back with 1,000 and 1,050 ringgit. Okay, so this money is for your accommodation. This money is for your transportation. This money is for your food. This is your three basic needs, and fourth basic need is communication.
Which is important also
Okay,
because without communication
which
doesn't allow you to do work.
correct. So these four major things probably would take at least about 70% or 80% of whatever that's remaining.
Yep.
So you'll be left with about what 200 ringgit for everything else.
Correct. No, the weird part about the whole situation for me lah, when I say this is also dependent on where you're staying. Like you said, Klang Valley cannot, but maybe outside of KL where cost of living is lower, then there is possibilities of surviving. I'm not saying thriving, I'm
Yeah.
saying surviving
Mm.
on it. Whether it's fair or not, then I think it's not fair.
Yeah.
But you can survive.
Yeah, correct. So in KL, 1,200, unless you're staying with your parents, or
Okay.
unless you're living like how they're living in, let's say, how like the people who are working like from working as laborers in UAE is living, or people who are living in Hong Kong. So basically, they're cramming up the living spaces and everything, and then you're splitting the rental bill among a lot of people. Then yeah,
Yep.
you can survive.
Yes.
You can survive, but I don't think that's a good way for you to live your life lah.
Correct. Correct. No,
It's not a good way to live
no,
your life.
because look, at the end of the day, we're working not to just survive. Just let me just reset everything for people just joining, baru join. How are y'all doing? Apa kabar? If you're live on Facebook on the Wealth Vantage page, thank you so much for joining us. We're also going live on Clubhouse. So anybody on Clubhouse, are there any financial questions? Please raise your hands. We'll allow you to ask the questions because we got Rafiq, who's a licensed financial planner here. I know on Clubhouse you can't see him, but it's connected through Facebook. Clubhouse is magic of David Copperfield. So everybody just calm down. Okay, so that's what's happening. But if you're on Facebook, there is a scan under my picture. Scan that for you to get a free consultation on your financial health check. They can check. You can check and see where are the red lines, where's good, where's not. But the financial planners who will check it will just give you the results, won't give you ideas or planning of how to expand or better it. That one, you take it further. Also, please follow Wealth Vantage on all social media platforms, because what we're trying to do here is increase your financial knowledge, so you understand more about your finances. So that's what we're trying to do. And if you can share this page with everybody, please comment as much as you can, and please like and do all that, because that's the only way for more people to pay
Yeah.
attention. And I believe this is a very important topic, which is 1.2K fresh grad, reasonable or not. So far, we've cleared that it's uh, not a wise thing. We actually got Saiful, who's coming in on Clubhouse, who's going to have a question on this. But Saiful, you wait first. Let Rafiq finish
Okay.
his point of view.
So so I was talking about survivability and everything.
Yep.
So from a licensed financial point of view, and in KL, obviously, is doesn't make sense. Uh,
Yep.
doesn't make sense. In some places outside of KL, maybe it makes sense, but it's
Yep.
not the way to live. Okay, so now let me talk from an employer's point of view. Okay, so as an employer, I also don't believe paying fresh grads that amount of money.
Right.
Okay, fresh grads amount of money.
All of a
So
sudden, everybody want to work with you.
we are still a small company, but we
Yep.
still feel that if you have if you're in a role where it actually requires you to have your degree, then we would try to remunerate you as fairly as we can.
Okay.
Okay, as
Understand.
fairly as we can. It might not be to the high end. So some people are like putting, okay, it's 3K, 3.5K, whatnot. So to me, if you're coming as a fresh grad, I personally, I'm telling you, I can't, as an employer, I cannot afford that.
Okay.
I cannot
Okay.
afford that for somebody who is still learning on the job.
Right. Fair
Okay.
enough.
But if, let's say, after 1 year, 2 years, you prove yourself
Yep.
and I see value in terms of what you bring to the company,
Right.
then I will remunerate you fairly.
See, okay, I'm going to come from an employer point of view who've heard that line before when I joined radio.
Mm,
So people have told me, if you hit certain benchmarks, then come talk to us, we'll increase your pay. But the weird part is, when I hit the
it doesn't
benchmark,
happen.
I go there, they say, oh, benchmark has moved. Hit that benchmark. Eventually, people get disheartened.
Yeah. Happened to
So,
me. Yeah, it did happen to me at one of the places where I worked at. Um, I was told, okay, so I had to achieve certain things, which I then
yep,
achieved.
yep,
So then when I and said, okay, once you achieve this, we will help you with your promotion and everything. And when the time came, so then said, oh, we didn't ever promise you that.
I
So
hate
that
though, we
made
never
my
promise you that nonsense.
yeah, so that made it easy for me. So I just tendered my resignation.
Bagus.
Easy. And okay, I'm not saying for people out there like in the current economic climate, just okay, tender your resignation and everything. I'm a bit in the left field. So for you who don't know the need, so left field is a baseball thing lah. So
Yep, yep, yep.
I'm on the left field. So I do things that are not typical. So if
100%.
I'm not happy, yeah, if I'm not happy with the company, I would
Yep.
just resign
Cool.
and figure out where I'm going to work after that.
Yeah, and the scary part. Okay, this on a realistic point of view. Okay, in this day and age, don't just leave without another game plan or a backup, because it's the economy
Yeah.
is very scary, and eventually, because if you are in the uh not the powerful situation, in other words, you need a job, it's easier for employers to not give you the proper deal that you want. All right, so it's
Yeah.
very important for you to understand your situation and be aware of that. Before we continue, I want to say hello to Victor. Thank you so much for joining us on Facebook. Like to say Daniel, QQER, Cheryl, June, Kyrie, Taufik, thank you so much for joining me in the clubhouse. We are talking about 12K, 1.2K for fresh grads, reasonable or not?
Okay.
12K lain, 12K very reasonable.
Okay,
1.2K
very
fresh
reasonable.
grads. if you got any questions, come up and then you can ask any questions. Now, Rafiq has cleared up the point of view as an employee. He's covered the point of view as an employer because you are an employer. What was the other one you wanted to cover also?
So basically, okay, so I already mentioned about licensed financial planner. So it
Correct.
doesn't make sense, lah. It
Yep.
doesn't make sense. So as an employer, also I've touched a bit. Okay, so as an employee, also I've touched. The last part that I haven't really touched is as a HR consultant.
Okay. Silakan.
So this actually goes behind the scenes. So uh, in at least I think medium to larger organizations lah. The small SMEs who just started up entrepreneurs, singularly they don't practice it.
Okay.
But in larger organizations, so they want to have more standardization
Yep.
to the need. So they then get people or they do it themselves to come up with what we call a salary structure.
Right. Okay. I've
Okay.
heard that word
So
before.
yeah, so the salary structure, what is it about? It actually then dictates based on your experience, based on your level, etc. What is the range that the company should be paying you?
So, what kind of
So
variables do company look at when it comes to company structure? If you don't mind me asking.
okay, so basically it depends, but generally, okay, it would take into account for that particular job. So we call it in technical terms a job role. So for
Yep.
that particular job role that you're taking, so they've already identified what is called the job size.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
it's a bit technical. It's a bit
Mm,
technical, but
no, I
just
understand it. Yes.
yeah. So job size. So means that for each job that is available in the company,
Yep.
there is a value that is attached to it.
That's a big word there. Value. Okay. Silakan.
That's a value, and this value is standardized across the company.
Right.
So
Okay.
means that I give you an example lah. So if let's say take your old employer lah, okay, take your old employer where you did your morning show and everything. Let's not
Yes.
name companies.
Of course. Jangan nanti diorang
Okay,
marah. Okay.
okay. So a manager in let's say the procurement department
Yep.
doesn't have the same job size as let's say a manager in radio,
Right. Okay. Okay. I understand
because you
that.
have different responsibilities and you have different requirements in order to fill that position.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Understand.
so I just want to give you an example about what is a job size. So that's what
Okay.
I mean by different value.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so we haven't linked the monetary value yet. Right now we're just talking about the importance of the value of the job comparative to each other.
All right. Okay.
Comparative to each other. Okay, so then we take into account the qualification needed, whether it's just diploma, degree, masters, PhD, professional qualification, technical qualification, etc. Years of experience, number of people that report to you, basically how many subordinates, whether it's just a local position or whether it's a regional position. What is your authority? Basically, how much you can approve. Is it none or is it like billions of ringgit?
Wow.
So yeah, so all of this is taken into account in order to come up with that job size.
Okay. Okay.
uh,
But
then once we've already mapped out this job size across the whole company,
uh-huh.
then we start what we start like putting it into uh, levels.
Okay. Okay.
So we start putting them. So you see, okay. So probably in your company, if you notice before, so you have like a title, but in your salary slip or something, then you also what's called a grade.
Yes,
So you can
correct.
be manager grade one, manager grade two, manager grade three.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, because then that also shows for career progression lah. So if you go up, so from grade one to grade two, go to grade three, technically your salary should go up.
Technically lah. Okay, continue.
Technically. So I'm talking theory lah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, I'm
correct, of
talking theory.
course.
So I can do the ideal situation for a company, but it's very dependent on what the company does with it lah. I'm not the
Yes.
one who makes the decision. Okay, so once we have the job size, and then what we do next is we actually do market comparison.
Okay. Okay.
So this is actually where it becomes uh, how to say it's more like a iterative process,
Mm-hmm.
because the thing is when you compare, let's say, market, and you compare, let's say, Malaysia market. So if the whole Malaysia market salary is depressed,
Yep.
so then you're comparing against a benchmark that is depressed.
Correct. So,
Yeah,
so
but
in
but
other words,
but
what you're trying to say is if there's a brand new company opening up now and they base their salary on the current uh, rate, it'll be very low
practices,
lah.
yeah, yeah,
That's unfair. I mean, like
yeah.
technically things
So
are supposed to get back to normal. Will your thing reflect it?
correct. So what some do is
Yep.
that we would then include certain recommendations, basically to adjust for things like inflation,
Yes.
everything. But for us, when we do that, we need to have all the justifications, so that because whatever that we do, it needs to be approved at board level.
Okay. So this is for big
Yeah,
companies, not the
yeah.
small ones lah.
The small, I would say, like I said, it would be
Okay.
medium to large companies. So you're talking about companies with like manpower 30, 40 plus to
Okay.
thousands
Okay.
they would start looking into something like this, because then they say, how do I decide, okay, to pay this person this much? How do I decide to pay this person this much? So they need a standard language in order to be able to communicate to all these people that you are being paid based on this standard.
Understand. But
Yeah,
it's still very confusing for a normal person. Okay, now once again, let me
correct.
just
It is. It is.
reset everything. Facebook, apa kabar? We're talking financially. The main topic is about 1.2K fresh grads, reasonable or not. That's the main topic. But you can ask any questions. Like Victor has a question. We will promise we will address your EPF question and withdrawal of 50-year-old in a bit. That 100% I'll reach it, but just give us time to cover this topic thoroughly first. Anyone in Clubhouse want to ask any financial question? The other voice you hear but you don't see is coming from Rafiq, who is a licensed financial planner from Wealth Vantage. You can ask him any questions. He will try and answer for you to understand better and get a better financial understanding and awareness of your situation. Okay, so we covered that. Okay, now we understand the structure of money and so on and so forth. We've covered that 1.2K is not reasonable at all. But we've also covered that the factor of where you are living. If you're living outside the KL, you can survive. I'm not saying it's fair. We are saying you can survive with 1.2, but it's very hard to grow your wealth from there. Okay, and then in Klang Valley, that one really you better stay home with your father, mother, and let them cook food for you, because if not, you cannot survive at all. But let's use one of the words that employers like to use. And funny enough, I also believe in also, and you brought it up, the word value. All right. I joined the cruises for very low pay, but no, but that time tinggi so because you get 10 ringgit an hour.
Mm.
So for me,
Okay.
that's very thingy, okay? But at that age and depending on how much hours you put in. But I had a bigger value because I could sit down with all the other departments. I learned promotions from them. I learned sound engineering from the sound engineers. I learned programming from the programmers. I learned how to be a DJ all on the job. But that one is taken outside of my work scope. Like I do my work scope, habis kerja, then I sendiri initiative and when I ask and do all that. So
Yeah.
when it comes to looking for a job and looking at the how much you're gonna get, all right, how much of is a decent price based on value that you can get from your job, in your opinion, Rafiq?
Okay. So, okay. I would use your example just now. So the
Okay.
thing is, you were brought in for cruises.
Yes.
Okay. So and they said, okay, this is what we're gonna pay you.
Yep.
Okay. So everything else that you mentioned just now was your own initiative
Yes.
in order for you to learn to add on to your value to them.
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
Correct.
So they didn't increase your pay. I would assume they didn't increase your pay in cruises.
Okay, see the cruises I
Okay.
got paid $10 an hour until I became an
Uh,
executive for a short while.
Ah,
Executive, I think my pay was 1,250. That was my pay, and I graduated as an electrical engineer, but I was working
mm,
not as an electrical engineer,
nothing
so
nothing related lah.
nothing really. So I understood 1,250 lah that back then. But yeah, I was an executive and I earned that much.
Mm,
Then I moved on to become a DJ, and my first pay was 2,500 for at least the first 3 years. Even though I hit all the benchmarks and progress
mm,
and orang kenal nama, dia tak kisah. But
faham,
yeah, I
faham.
I I I worked hard for that lah. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So coming back to the so like what I was trying to explain. So okay, so what you were doing when you were in cruises. Okay, so you said, okay, I need to increase my value.
Yep.
So I need to increase my value. So I would not sure like how many hours you're doing for your cruises and everything. Whether like the executive was actually a step up or a step down in terms of income.
Step down.
Yeah, it's because if I assume that you were doing 10 ringgit per hour, 40 hours a week, then
Oosh.
4 weeks a month, you would have earned 1,600 as cruises. Then you went down
Correct.
to 1,250.
Correct.
Okay,
But then
but the thing is, then
I
then
got
I would ask you as a
EPF.
HR person.
Yeah.
So you then made the decision because going there, you probably you saw, okay, a career path for you to go into where you want
Correct.
to go, like DJing and all that,
Correct.
which
Correct. Correct.
then, okay, yeah, you dapat 2005, so which I'm not saying whether I agree or not, for 3 years, but
Yep.
then that's where then your value started increasing, and then I assume you got paid.
Yes. But
You got
not
paid.
what people think. I just have to clear that
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah,
people.
yeah. So because like for me, I actually went through the same.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so I graduated from one of the top universities in the whole world as a mechanical
I
engineer.
want to say
Came.
it. Can I say it, please? He is a licensed financial planner, but he graduated from MIT. Okay, so that's who you're talking to. Orang pandai. Okay, continue.
Okay, so I came back and I was earning 1,900. Uh,
Okay.
1,000 in Klang Valley. Okay, I was earning 1,900. So interestingly, I had an office job in the States as a part timer, and I was earning 2,005 US dollars a
Oh
month.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, so my boss over there, when I told her that I was going to come back, she was actually willing to increase my salary
Yeah.
because I was going from part time to full time. But the only thing that would have stopped the whole thing is because whatever work that I was doing, it was in the financial, it wasn't related to my degree. So there was
Right.
no way in hell I would have gotten a visa.
Understand.
Yeah.
Understand.
So then when I told her, oh, I'm going back for a 1,900 per month
Job.
salary
Yeah.
job, then she looked at me like, really, like, seriously? You're going back for that amount? But I said, then to sedapkan hati, I said, okay lah, they paid for my education for this month, so, and I have a bond for this year, so I then prorated lah.
Yep.
Okay, 1 million plus over 7 years, so technically they paid me more than 1,009 lah, if I want to
Look at it that way, lah.
look at that way, look at it
Yep.
from that point of view. So okay, so that's what I learned, that's what I earned. And for the first 3 years in the company, basically was looking at like 100 ringgit a year type increment lah.
Okay. Okay. 100. Wow.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
100
100.
a year.
uh
10 years only 1,000, bro. Sedih.
no lah, that was me. But like if you had like gone up like
Tears lah.
naik
Like
pangkat and
tear.
everything,
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
so it would have been higher, been ni lah. Okay,
Right.
so but after 3 years, I said tak tahan. Then I left the company, went into consulting, and got a 1,000 ringgit jump,
Okay.
which was huge lah.
Correct.
Which was huge, and I made the research and everything. I said, okay, at least I could expect, let's say, a 500 to 700 ringgit increment on a yearly basis without promotions.
Understand.
or without promotion. So when and stayed in that company for 3 years, managed to get from 3,005 to 5,005 in the span of 3 years.
Okay, that's good.
In the span of 3 years, but I remember this one discussion I had with my director back at that time. So he said, like, in the first few years of my career or anyone's career, like, you shouldn't focus on the income. You should make sure that you have sufficient income.
Yes, that's the
Okay,
word.
make
Like
sure that
everybody, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
make sure that you have sufficient income, but you shouldn't focus that much. So you shouldn't be jumping jobs just for the salary. You should be looking for positions where it helps you build your experience. It helps build your resume.
Yes,
And that was what I was doing for the first few years of my career. And after I feel I've already achieved a certain level and everything, so then I went overseas.
understand.
So,
Yeah.
and the job that I had before I went overseas was the last job that I negotiated my salary.
After that, you start working on your own.
No, I still came back to work, but
Right.
I never negotiated my salary anymore. So they
Oh,
paid me
because your
what they
value
think they
was
should be
there
paying me.
already, lah. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. 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 So the
So
argument
yeah,
is the value,
yeah.
lah.
So is the value. So, but the value is very dependent on the person on the other side. So I've been on the HR side before. I've been negotiating with people. So yes, we do use certain calculators to calculate things like that. But there will be candidates where, okay, when we do the negotiation, they would go outside of a range.
Right.
But
Okay.
if we feel that this person is somebody that we want to hire, we want to bring in, we
Okay.
will go out of the range.
All right. Okay. Okay.
I
Now,
I
since
did the same. I did the same right now with my own company. So I brought in one or two people that said,
yep.
okay, our budget for this position was, let's say this much. But
Yep.
then when we talk to the person, I'm saying, no, we need
Oh.
this person to be in.
Okay. Okay.
And this
Now,
person said, I want that amount.
you you
So
you
then
s-
we
you,
gave
you,
it.
you brought up something very interesting from a employer and a HR point of view, which I'm going to ask. And once again, if you're watching on Facebook, how are you, Victor? We're going to get to your questions and your points in a bit. Anyone else got any questions? Put it there. Clubhouse, if you want, come up and ask. Saiful is up here. If you've got a specific question, flash your mic and I'll let you ask your question. But for the time being, I got a question for you, Rafiq. Okay, as an employer and an HR person who has the insight of this, and I'm not saying you did this, but there are some bad employers and HR. What are red flags that should people should look for that you're being shortchanged?
Okay. So a lot of people, when they change jobs, right?
Right.
So they don't look at what we call in HR space your total remuneration.
Okay. Because like in
Yeah.
Astro, we had the medical, we had Astro for free, we had all these extra things.
Correct. So
Right.
so generally what you miss out is on the benefit side,
Right. Okay.
especially the younger ones, because the younger ones, as they say, okay, we don't use this benefit, don't use that benefit, we're just looking at the base salary.
Okay. Understand. Understand.
Okay, so that is the first thing lah. That is the first thing. Okay.
Okay.
So I've been in negotiations where I would then explain to ni, so okay, you give me all your information, then I would say, okay, why our package is better than what you think it is.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So because I'm all about facts, so I'm in the financial services industry, so it's easier to convince people based on facts and figures.
Yeah.
So I
Correct.
said,
Fair
okay,
enough.
and even for my clients, I did mention it during InvestSmart earlier today, and I said three of them lost their jobs. Okay,
Wow.
so but then I already made, so they came to me to discuss, and I said, okay, once you get the offer, discuss with me first.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Okay.
will then tell you how to then go back to the HR to nego or whatever it is, so that you get what you should be getting.
You're doing above and beyond your Call of Duty, bro. But let's take a break again just to reset everything. we are going live on Wealth Vantage Facebook page. If you got any questions, you can ask it on the Wealth Vantage page, and you can see our faces. Rafiq is there, I'm there. But on Clubhouse, you'll just see my face, but you can hear Rafiq's voice. He's a licensed financial planner from Wealth Vantage. You can ask him any financial question. It doesn't have to be about the topic, Aja. We will cover it because we started this and we do this every other Friday, trying to highlight and we're trying to increase the financial knowledge of everybody. Also, if you're watching the thing, you'll see a QR code. Not yet here at the moment. Is zoom into our face, but there you go,
Yes.
QR code, and also the link that allows you to have a free financial consultant consultation, so people can see your whether you're in red
My financial
in the
situation.
red financial situation. So they will give you that. A licensed financial person will give you your awareness of your financial situation, but won't give you how to improve it. Okay, so if you want more, you got to go Wealth Vantage and you find out and all that. Now, what is a good fresh get salary? Tengok bahasa pun dah keluar. What is a
Okay, so to me, okay, so there's two parts to this. So one is the ability of the company to pay.
yep,
So obviously, if let's say the company cannot afford it, then you should you shouldn't be paying what you cannot afford lah,
correct,
right?
correct, 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 correct.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah. So and this would happen with smaller companies, whether we like it or not. Okay, whether we like it, because all of this is interrelated. So okay, if you because consumers want things that are cheap.
yep,
Okay, so then companies would have them to reduce their prices and everything, and then that will reduce their revenue. When reduce their revenue, it will then impact what money they have available in order to pay their overhead, staff salaries, and all that. So
yep.
it is interrelated. So on a side note, so if let's say somebody has already, or somebody that you know or has already said, okay, this is our price and everything, please don't nego.
Okay, okay. That means they
Because
cannot.
sometimes they've already did their calculations, their budgets and everything, and by you negotiating and reducing it further, it will affect. So it will have impact like what we have here. I'm not saying like there are employers who yang macam memang kedekut, untung besar tapi tak nak bayar, itu lain cerita. But
Ah,
based on my own experience, based on people that I know, entrepreneurs and everything, that I advise my friends or entrepreneurs and everything. So they would be happy to pay more
okay,
if
okay.
they can afford.
Yep.
If they can afford. But in reality, most of us, due to certain situations, can't pay
Out a lot more.
out a lot lah. Okay,
Yep.
so that is the reality lah. So okay, so what would be a good starting salary? So I can't say much about others, but at least if I'm not mistaken, I need to double check. But in our company, the starting salary is about 2004, 2005.
Okay.
It's still not that high.
Correct,
It's still
correct,
not
correct.
that high.
This is coming. I want to ask
Yeah.
your financial planner point of view lah. Okay, I know we've cleared the facts. Please watch the previous videos. We'll tell you how to grow your wealth and all that. We've discovered. We've covered that on how long you should be working before you engage a financial planner and stuff like that. But what you said, 24, 25, can someone grow their wealth from 24, 25?
Okay, if you're single, it's possible.
Right. Okay.
If you're single, it's possible. Not much, but it's possible. But the second part of what we do, like I explained to you, is on value. So you
Yep.
might start at 24 or 25,
Yep.
but we don't wait until let's say 1 year or so. If let's say we see, okay, this person can do a higher end job,
Yep.
so then we would then repurpose this person, and then we would give them a probation period where we will actually already pay them a higher salary.
Right. 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 You are a fair
So
person.
uh,
You have to
so
realize
it's
not
slightly
ramai
different.
orang fair macam tu.
Correct. No. The thing is because I've went through it.
Yeah. Okay.
I've
Yeah.
so like I said, my perspective is very unique because I actually see the whole 360.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I used to go through it myself. I used to advise people.
Hmm.
I am now hiring people,
Yeah.
and I'm advising people how to manage their finances. So I actually see the whole sphere.
And the
I
weird part
actually
is,
see the whole sphere.
I understand where you're coming from, because besides just being a radio DJ, eventually in my career, I was in management as well, organizing talent and,
Mm.
training people, and I understand the value part and all that. So it's it's hard lah, but what you're doing is fair. There's a lot of people who are out there is not fair. So we've cleared it. The best, safest place to start is 2425, around there. All right, for a fresh
If
grad,
you're single, lah.
if you're
Yeah, I
single.
assume
And
fresh grads are mostly single, lah.
yeah
I
lah,
assume
kalau
fresh grads
you,
are mostly
you're
singles, lah.
if you're married already, well done. So that's all I can say
Yes.
lah. Nothing else but well done. Okay. Okay. So we've got that. If anybody got any questions, please, Clubhouse, put up your hands. Come on and ask. Saiful is there already. If anyone on Facebook, just go there and ask. Like we said, we'll just ask any question. I'm gonna interject with a little point of view when it comes to salary wise. All right, here's a crazy thing. When I was on radio, I earned a five-figure salary. Okay, but then after radio left, I knew I had the skill sets of becoming a creative director. All right, but I didn't have the experience as a creative director. So what I did was I went into a small boutique agency and took a four-figure, low-end four-figure pay, just to earn in the name and the credit of I've done this and I can prove I can do it, even though I know I
Yeah.
could. So
Yeah.
I hope that gives you perspective on pay. I don't know whether that helps.
No. Okay. So you mentioned earlier that we went for dinner. So there
Yes,
was a third person.
correct,
Okay, there
correct,
was a
correct.
third person that we should not name unless
She allows
oh,
it.
it's a she lah. She
Yes.
allows it lah. So if she's like say, oh yeah, yeah, you can name, then we'll name. Okay, so this person actually came to the place I used to work before. So she
Right.
was from the finance. She was in financial, and she wanted to go into HR. She
Yep.
wanted to go into people. So if I'm not mistaken, took a slight pay cut in order to
Okay.
do it, but similar to the decision that you made.
Yes.
So because said okay, it's a new area. It's something that I want to do, but I don't have the experience to convince you.
Yes.
So but we didn't tekan her that much lah. We didn't tekan her that much. But we gave her based on the position that was coming in. So she was a manager before, but because it was a new area, we cannot give her a manager salary.
Right. Okay.
So
So
we still brought her in as an assistant manager.
okay. Okay. A step down lah.
As a step down lah, one level down, because she's as a manager before, she would have experience in managing people.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, managing people. So we do take that into account lah. But what you mentioned earlier, so I'm not saying that all HR would look at it that way.
Agree. It depends
So
on the
don't think
company you work for too, so lah.
correct. So and this is where some of my clients have an advantage, because they have a financial planner that has HR background. So when they want to nego with the HR, so I will tell them all the tips and tricks how to so the actual wording, word by word, that they need to talk to the HR, what are the points that they need to raise and everything. And
Right.
most of the time, they will get what they want.
Because you're speaking HR language. Dude, sometimes if I can speak HR language, I will speak HR language. I tak faham. You throw in all these technical terms, HR also get scared. Okay? It's like if you go to a mechanic and then you tell them exactly what's wrong with your car, they cannot tekan you with fake things like your
Betul.
exhaust got problem, they ask you to change your brake. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. You've got that. Okay, cool. So we've cleared that. I hope we've cleared more or less our understanding from the main topic, which is 2.5, 1.2K, fresh grad, reasonable or not. I'm going to give you last chance for anybody in the crowd on Facebook or on Clubhouse to ask any questions, because the weird part is y'all are here, But it's so quiet. I don't like it. I can see a lot of people in the page, but no one's talking. I'm like, this is so weird. Saiful, you got a question you want to add? I see your thing going gray, 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 but I can't hear your voice, bro. Oh my god, I think he's saying something, but I can't hear him. Okay, hold. This is not good. Oh, I know why. Okay, now Saiful, I can hear you.
You hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Let me go on. Come back.
Yes. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Eh, did he just went out?
Hey, hey,
All right, Saiful,
hey, 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 hey,
what's your question?
hey.
What's your question?
You hear me?
Yep.
You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been trying to talk since just now. I thought you were trying to avoid me or something.
No. Go ahead. Ask your question, bro.
No, I want to ask already, but I want to talk just now for a long time.
Sorry, bro. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
Ask your question.
Uh, okay. Stop crying. I want to ask what happened to Yogi B.
Lah, Yogi B was in the crowd tadi dah belah.
Yeah, that's all I want to know.
We're doing financial questions. Okay, thanks, Saiful. We'll go back to any other financial questions. If anybody got a question, please do.
Financially, what happened to Yogi B?
Financially, Yogi B is doing very well. Okay.
Oh wow.
But bro, thanks so much. Okay, anyone in the crowd got any financial questions? Please raise your hands, come up and ask the questions. I'm going to allow you to speak. Saiful is going to remain there. Now, I'm going to focus on what Victor asked in our Facebook, which is a more older question. Which is an okay. Here, let me read it out for everybody. I will be hitting the big 50 soon, and I will be eligible for EPF partial withdrawal. I plan to make a partial withdrawal to perhaps add to investments such as dividend yielding stocks that gives higher than EPF effective yield. Planning to take out probably 10 to 15% of total EPF account amount. What is your opinion?
Okay. So first, because for Victor, you've been following us since, I'm not sure since we started, but you've been around for a long time, so you probably heard some of the things that I will be saying. So the first thing first is you need to understand what your goal is.
Yes.
What your goal is. So because I actually do talk to my clients, because some of them are in a situation where they do not need to take any additional risk.
Oh, okay, because they're comfortable enough. They're good already.
They're good already, even with their money in EPF, ASB, tabung haji, fixed deposit, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe they were just lucky to have some durian runtuh somewhere, things like that, or they've been very good at managing their money, so they do not need to, let's say, take additional risk. So in those kind of situations, my advice to them is, if you don't need to take risk, don't take risk.
Right.
Okay? Because when you take risk, is a double-edged sword. It can work to your benefit. It can work against
you.
Against you. Okay. So even for the best of us, like people say like, oh, get 10%, 15% return per annum and everything. So JJ, you were in Bursa Marketplace.
Yes.
So you also know that even the best of us will still lose money. When
Even the brokers lose money. If the brokers know how to make money 100%, they
wouldn't be a broker.
They wouldn't be a broker.
They wouldn't be a broker. Sorry, like they would
correct.
be in a yacht somewhere. They would be in a yacht somewhere in the middle of the Mediterranean or
Correct.
Maldives or something,
Correct.
having a drink, like having a
Yeah.
party, things like that. So they wouldn't be like going, okay, there's this hot tip, blah 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 to you. They wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be doing that. Yeah. So and I think, not to say all the investment gurus whatnot, but say part of it is the same. So if somebody is like really, 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 really good at what they do in terms of the investments, blah blah blah, like they wouldn't be spending time like trying to convince you to invest with them.
Correct. 100% agree. And if you want to know about when talking about investment and stuff, we have covered the topic before. Just go through the timeline of Wealth Vantage, you'll find it. Daniel is up on Clubhouse. Daniel, you got a question for Rafiq?
Hi JJ, am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so we're talking about 1,002 a month. I'm just doing a comparative study lah. So I did the math to get about 1,002 a month. It's about
Wait, sekejap. Rafiq, you gotta mute your mic.
Okay.
Okay, go. Daniel, go.
my test.
Okay, go ahead, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay, cool. So like to get about 1,002 a month, we are averaging about 8 ringgit an hour for 8 hour work for about 20 days, 20
Okay.
day work month lah, more
Right.
or less lah.
Yep.
Lebih kurang. So I'm doing a comparison in terms of the minimum wage we see in like European countries like Belgium. What else do I have? I have Belgium, I have Australia, I have Ireland, I have the Netherlands, all this kind of thing.
Yep.
Generally, it's all about under $10 or €10 of their own local currency as well. At most, it's about 11 to 12. Yeah, on a high side. So
Okay.
it ranges from around $9 their local currency to about $12 their local currency. We are just slightly under.
You're drowning. Your audio starting to drown, Daniel.
Hello, mic testing,
Okay.
Better?
Yeah, better. Go.
Like Malaysia, our local currency is about $8, our currency, relative to like the European nations or the.
So you're talking about dollar for dollar, as in our ringgit is about 9 something, and European is about $9.
9 to 12, yeah, 9 to 12.
Okay.
Ours about 8. Ours about 8.
Ours about 8. Okay.
Yeah. So I think this issue is not only faced in Malaysia, but I think I think it's also a global phenomenon.
So it's a global phenomenon. But okay, in your opinion, Daniel, Rafiq's got something to add. Okay, hold on. Rafiq's going to talk. We have to shut up because or else we're going to have double. Go ahead, Rafiq. Talk.
Okay, so I just want to ask you to clarify something. So when you said okay, so you started off with 1,002, then you went into the calculation for minimum wage. Okay, so basically across Australia, Europe, and Belgium, blah 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 blah. Okay, so but the thing is, does it mean like all those countries that is what they're paying their fresh graduates?
That's an interesting
Because
question.
to me
Daniel.
it's actually two different issues. So one is minimum wage, whether minimum wage is sufficient or not, but second is those that are actually fresh graduates
Yep.
who have went to tertiary education, things like that, assuming that they're relevant and whatnot. So should they then be paid minimum wage?
That's a good point. Okay, Daniel, back to you.
I mean, I see where Rafi is coming from. That's a very valid point. But just as an indicator, lah. I mean, even some fresh grads in the European countries, they also get paid. Maybe not as a full-time staff, but as a part-time staff, like as an incentive. They also get paid a minimum wage rate until they can secure a permanent contract. So, I mean, the fact of the matter is, I mean, like, as far as we know, not just in Malaysia, not just in other Asian countries, but even in Europe and in Australia, this kind of constraint exists for fresh graduates or graduates who haven't yet secured a permanent position.
Right.
So I think the main concern is actually how is the government going to tackle this? Is the government able to tackle this? Because unless the government does something like maybe tax incentives,
Okay.
like the government could go for tax incentives to help companies to fit in higher wages for their workers.
Because
But if they don't do that, I think companies are also quite their hands are tied.
okay,
Not all companies are-
your audio is drowning again, Daniel. But I'm going to take a pause for a while. And Rafiq, I want you to address what he just said, because recently there was a statement at 2025 or something like that. Malaysia is going to be high earning income nation. And then he brought us government helping out. How can the government help out? Do you roughly have an idea or a suggestion, an opinion?
Okay, so for those that know me or know my background, so my last job was actually with this organization called Talent Corp.
I know
Okay,
your background.
Yes, so I was actually brought back from overseas. I was one of those brought back from overseas to come and work in Malaysia. So looking at the policies but in the end, it didn't work out because, like most things in Malaysia, interference.
Yes.
Interference lah. Okay, like what I was promised would happen in terms of where we would go, and the reason what which was one of the big reasons why I decided to say okay and come back didn't materialize lah.
Right.
Okay, so even back then, so this was 2010, not not now.
That's
So
11
even
years ago, dude.
2010, yeah, 11 years ago, we were already talking about high income nation.
Right.
So we had this thing called NKEA and NKEA and NKRA.
Okay.
So under the Government Transformation Program and the Economic Transformation Program. So it's not like the first time the government has tried to formulate policies in order to increase income. Okay, but the issue is, okay, in Malaysia, it's not about the ideas. I think we have good ideas.
Okay. Okay.
We have good ideas, we have good policies, etc. But what is weak in Malaysia is the implementation of these ideas.
Okay. I
The
understand.
implementation of these ideas. So, like in order to increase, let's say, from where we are to a high income nation, etc. So a big part of it is the economy. How would the government work with the private to spur economy? So because we've already said a long time ago, we need to move into the knowledge economy. We need to move in the industrial revolution. We need to move away from manufacturing, labor intensive. But still, like
Yeah, we're still there.
we're still there. We're
Mhm.
still there. So even in some of the large GLCs, PLs, public listed companies and everything. So
Right.
I know some of them are trying to go towards those type of industry, but there are certain things that are pulling them back. Pulling back. But the simplest way is more towards is like, okay, you can give tax incentives and everything, but the economy needs to be there.
Yeah.
If the
Does make
economy
sense.
is that, if our GDP doesn't expand to the point where, okay, it can then have companies to earn, people can afford to buy more stuff. So because it needs to be circular.
Correct.
So
Correct.
like kita, like, okay, I'm willing to pay this, I won't nego, things like that, like what I said earlier.
Yep.
So then we can get there.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
We can get there. But the thing is, if the government is not focusing on building the economy,
Right. So,
right?
so there's two
So
things lah.
then you will have pockets of companies that can get there.
Yeah,
So
and
do you know, there are, okay, I have clients who are uh 31, 32 years old
yep.
that are earning 30K a month.
What industry? Yeah, tak ya, tak ya. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
So, but I also have clients who are 40 years old that are earning 10K a month.
Right. Okay. So it's age
So
and nothing to do with it.
it's nothing to do with age. It's nothing to do with it. So there are companies that can pay
Employees.
their staff, the
Yeah.
employees, the salaries that they should be getting. But there are companies who can't. But it all boils back to the overall economy and how each company is doing separately. But I just want to add this one point before I end this part, is
Yep.
that for me, okay, so when we talk about fresh graduates and everything, so part of what I believe most fresh graduates should be doing is actually increase your value even while you're still studying. So means
How do you
that
do
go
that?
for internships. Go for
Oh, okay.
internships.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I can tell you as an employer, most of our fresh graduates that we hire are all our interns.
Okay. Okay. Because you've seen them work.
Correct. We've seen them work. We know their value. We know what
Right.
they bring to the table.
Yeah.
Because 1 hour, 2 hour interviews will only tell you that much about a certain person.
Correct.
But working together for 3 months, 6 months, then okay, shows you a bigger picture. Then say, okay, this is somebody that I want to invest in.
Yeah.
from a salary
But
point of view, from a development point of view, etc. Blah blah blah.
the weird part about what you just said is internship is not a big thing in Malaysia companies thing.
Mm, it's
Is it?
getting bigger.
It's
It
getting
is
bigger
getting
lah.
bigger. There are incentives if you take in interns. There are
Oh.
double tax incentives if you actually take interns.
Eh?
From my previous company.
See, it's interesting to know all these facts, and then if you go in, I mean, like for an for a fresh a student and wanting to look for internship, you throw in all these facts to the HR person. They're gonna look at you like, oh, this guy pandai. You're speaking my language, my son, or the young man or young lady. So those are the important things to find out. Okay, guys. Anybody else got any other questions to add? Because we normally do this show for 1 hour. With 1 hour up already. Anybody got any
Can I
things
say
to add?
something?
Go ahead, Saiful.
So how much is an okay salary for fresh grads?
We about 2.2425.
Oh, okay.
At
So
That's
minimum
without
lah.
allowances and stuff. That's minimum 2, 4 to 5.
That's
yes,
without allowances, without the benefits, etc.
yeah,
Yeah, okay, so
that's
I'm
clean.
never gonna have any stuff lah.
I'm never gonna have this stuff. Okay, if you are a small organization, we cleared that factor. So if you're a small organization and the people coming in understand that you're a small organization, and if you're willing to be transparent with them and say that, look, if we grow together, then we'll grow the money together. Then I'm sure the person coming in with the eyes wide open, they're willing to do it. But if you try to tell them like, don't worry, you're going to get this much, but don't, that's when the anger comes.
Yeah.
How much is that?
So actually,
Negotiate with
yeah,
anybody.
it's a negotiation. It's
500
a
boleh?
negotiation on that part. Huh?
Yeah, for
200.
fresh grad. For fresh grad, yes. 200 tak boleh lah, Dave. Saiful, I know
200
you're
tak boleh.
Berat
comedian.
lah bro.
Stop it,
I'm not
though.
admin. Berat lah.
No, but correct.
Yeah.
It has to be able for them to live, and put yourself in their shoes, and I'm sure you can come up with a good number and work out
I
your
know.
number together.
So I'm never
Yeah,
having
so
staff. lah.
yeah, so for me, when I decide to get a staff, so being a financial planner, being in HR, I would identify what would be the financial impact of
All
the
right.
person,
Yep.
either from cost savings point of view or from the revenue, additional revenue that would be brought in, etc. So that would be one of the main points.
Yep.
When I decide. So, and if let's say by bringing in that person, I can,
Yep.
let's say, earn a certain thing, save a certain amount, blah 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 blah. So then it's gonna make it easier for me to then, okay, I'm gonna bring this person in. So
Right.
there is a budget that's gonna be set aside for this particular person. So
Cool.
it's not just okay, hire, then okay, like macam MLM. So figuring out just okay, one person je okay, yang lain semua okay would die of a natural death. No, it doesn't work that way, because whoever that I bring in, there is a cost.
Yeah.
There is a cost to that person. So I've let go somebody after 6 months.
Right.
I've increased someone's salary every half a year because I want to keep the person around, but giving more and more responsibilities lah.
Understand.
Testing
mean,
them
like-
more. So I don't wait like normal. Okay, 3 years baru naik pangkat. 3 years baru naik pangkat. No, if you can show that you're ready to take on additional roles and responsibilities, I will then put you in that position. I would put you on a probation, and I will give you a salary allowance to cover that. And if let's say after within the probation period you do prove yourself that you need, so then it's going to be permanent.
Awesome.
That yeah. So and I think for employers and everything, you can practice those kind of things.
Yeah.
So if you want to test, then you can use things like probation, allowances, everything to test it out. Don't just okay now put everything on paper. Oh, it's permanent. No.
It doesn't
So
work
you
like
also
way.
it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. All right. Saiful, hopefully that answers everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Victor says problem is a lot of interns are not doing the stuff that should be offering that is related to degree. Betul. Masuk buat coffee. Then look for the right companies that will help you grow. But once again, guys, thank you so much for listening, tuning in, asking the question, sharing. Hopefully, what we discussed today will help you. Please do go to Wealth Vantage. You see the thing here, scan it. Find out how you can do your free financial consultation. It's done by a licensed financial planner. They will check everything and give you the what's red line, what's not, and all that. But if you want to extend further, then discuss with them more. Follow Wealth Vantage My all social media. You can find there because they give a lot of tips and they give you a lot of updates constantly. And I've learned a lot from just that. But once again, Rafiq, thank you so much for chatting with us and sharing your knowledge. And thank you everybody for listening, both on Facebook and on Clubhouse. And hopefully in 2 weeks' time, we'll decide another topic. If you've got a topic that you want us to discuss, put it in the comment section and we'll discuss it the next time around. All right?
Yep.
So that's it for tonight. Thank you very much. We extended 6
Bye.
minutes. Gila. Bye.
Bye everyone. Have a nice weekend.
Bye bye.